Well,
Well,
the intro goofed. The intro
I'm in the
goofed.
middle of
Sorry.
eating. I was trying to get a couple bites in.
It's all right. Wait, hold on.
The intro really did goof.
What happened?
I don't know. It wouldn't let me play it live. I stopped that.
You don't need to stop it. That's probably why. Anyways,
Technical me difficulties.
Sorry.
It's all right. I remember my first time running an intro.
I don't know what happened there. To be honest with you, it's kind of weird.
That's all good.
Well,
It's all good, man.
best part of the show is the intro, but whatever.
Oh, you know what? Do I have it? No, I got the old one. Want to get the old one? Just for old time's
fire
sake?
the old one up, bro. Fuck it.
Welcome.
Can you hear this?
Tonight's
Oh, yeah, we
program will dive deep into fringe knowledge of lost, hidden, and suppressed truths about the nature of our reality. The decoding process can be uncomfortable and at times frightening. However, you are not alone on this journey of understanding. Welcome to the Shadow Bank podcast, and welcome home.
Now we can start.
Yeah, now it's official.
Now it's officially begun. Are you ready?
You got a good movie announcer voice.
The Pope is dead. Sorry. That was our first topic. I don't know.
Died on Easter.
It could have been anything else, dude.
Died on
Easter, dude.
bro. Yeah, like what?
Jesus rose, Pope died.
That there's something there, man. Come on, you're the Bible guy, right? Like, what's the prophecy say, man? What does it say?
There ain't nothing there, dude. However, okay, I lied. There is something there. In I think St. Paul's Basilica or one of these places, whoever built the place, in the top of the dome or whatever, they put a bunch of slots and they put the pictures of the popes, starting with St. Peter, all the way in the top, right? And it just has gone around and around and around. And every single pope, they put the picture up there. One slot left.
Like the next guy's slot is next.
That's it.
Just the next guy.
Last pope. Ooh, who could it be, dude? What happens after that?
You know, it's funny because I asked Grok, right? Because the AI overlords know everything now. So I was like, what is the prophecy, you know, the death, the whole thing, right? I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's kind of long, but just the last little bit. In short, the prophecy of the Pope is a captivating but dubious text likely fabricated for political ends with no reliable basis for predicting the papacy or apocalyptic events. Blah, blah, blah. Recent posts on X reflect public fascination with users debating whether Francis fulfilled the prophecy or if a Peter the Roman will follow. So I'm guessing that if the new pope is named Peter, we're screwed.
Yes. Well, the issue that at least, you know, end times dudes, they try to bring up is like this next guy, whoever the Antichrist is, the whole entire world is like, that's our guy. So how do you get that? You know? But the Pope is like internationally recognized as the guy. Like everybody respects the Pope. So, you know, there might be something there. I don't know.
I also saw a video, and, I don't know much about this, to be honest with you, but I saw a video and it was something like the guy was saying, hey, the Vatican, uh, with the legalese of the whole thing, it's a country, right? It's its own country. And, the Pope that just died was technically like the 14th king of the Vatican, right? Like, but there's been a lot more popes than that, right? But I guess he's like the 14th pope since the Vatican, whatever, legalese their way into being its own sovereign thing. So, and in the video, he kind of rambled on about how like the 14th king of Rome or something like that, like is part of the prophecy, or I don't know.
I don't know.
But the other thing is I saw, whose show was this? It was Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk was interviewing some guy who, is well read on the Bible, and he was saying like, no, like there's nothing in there. It's just shenanigans. It's internet shenanigans.
Well, yeah, there's nothing. There's no indication that something could possibly be the Pope, except for the only thing there is like, how does one guy get the whole world to be like, yeah, you're the guy. You're our version of whatever. Like you're the guy that our version of religion was talking about. Islam, Judaism, Catholicism, Hinduism. Everybody goes, that's the one. So it's like, at least, according to the Bibles and prophecy. So it's like, there's not a lot of characters that'll fit that bill, You definitely can't be Jewish because everybody hates them. So it's not that. It's something else. And the only other one that like is Catholicism. That's the only one. The Pope is like rock star in every country, in every culture. Everybody's like, he is. So if you had like a young Pope who could actually like do some moving and shaking, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't want to put that evil on the Catholic Church, but
Sure. Well, they do a good job doing that to themselves, I think. The Easter thing is spooky.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, they don't need my
Easter,
help.
like to me, that's like symbolic.
It's
like
weird, man.
There's something there. I always say they do things on certain days. Like Micah Dank. Those astrotheology people who can like kind of decode the days and the stars and all that. I'm sure those guys are having a field day. I gotta go and see what.
Oh yeah, dude.
Oh, it's the
yeah.
It's
well, also like
it's the 1000th Easter since such and such a thing. It's like some shit.
Let's see. I don't know, dude. We're coming up on the 2000th Easter. It's coming.
What is this you're showing me?
2033-ish.
What is this?
So it's the papal hammer. It's not
The
just-
Pope hammer is a long-standing but inaccurate tradition. In reality, the Cardinal Camerlengo, not a hammer, is used to officially confirm a pope's death. The Camerlengo would traditionally call out the pope's baptismal name 3 times, and in the past, this was sometimes done while lightly tapping the pope's forehead with a silver hammer. However, the practice has been largely replaced by modern medical confirmation of death. So back in the day, they used to take a silver hammer and smack the Pope in the head, make sure
Bonk you on the head 3 times. Francis. He's dead.
Oh, he's dead now.
Now he's dead. Dude.
I wonder how many of them. I wonder how many of them they killed because the Pope was just drunk, dude.
The Pope was just sleepy, bro.
Just too much
Bonked him on
wine.
the head 3 times.
Just whined out,
Too
bro.
much communion, bro. They do a lot of screwy stuff, man. I never understood that. I was talking to my dad about that stuff. I'm like, where did all that come from? They do like the upside down cross and stuff. I'm like, Peter's cross. Like, why? What's with all the praying
the
to
symbol, the thing? Like that's an upside down cross. I was wondering that when we went to the funeral. Yeah, we went to a funeral like 2 weeks ago for my grandmother, and Crystal. I sat separate from her because I was like kind of part of it, so I was like up in the front. And after on the way home, we started talking about it, and the first thing she said was, she's like, I just know you were sitting up there like thinking about this in another
every
way.
symbolic thing.
Yeah, because it was like a Catholic, Catholic mass situation. So yeah, they're going through the whole ritual, and yeah, she was right the whole time. I'm like, yo, you're eating. This is a cannibalism ritual you're doing. This is,
Dude,
like,
yes.
yeah,
What
it's
is
weird,
with
man.
that?
It's weird.
It's very strange, man. It's very strange. I did an episode on my like own little private podcast thing with I read like through the Bible or whatever, and I got to like the Lord's Supper, and I'm like, where did the idea come from that this became his body, like his actual body? And they're like, oh, they will say like, oh, it's because like he said this is my body. And I'm like, obviously it's symbolic because he said that when his body hadn't even been broken yet. So obviously it's symbolic. How would it be his body if he's sitting right there in front of you? Dumb. But yeah, it's like all these rituals and stuff. They got like the two serpents staff, which has always been a Baphomet and a Baal or whatever his name is, like a demon symbol, the two serpents. It's the medical symbol. I was like, oh no, this is like when Moses made the golden serpent thing. I was like, no, that was one serpent, and there was a really specific reason for that. It's not the two serpents. The two serpents is always been this pagan thing. These others, like these weird staff, that's a staff with like the three things on it. Or no, it's a staff with like a nub and then two. It's literally this staff, which is, like, dude, they do so many weird things. I just cannot wrap my mind around.
It's
like,
it's spooky, man.
why?
Yeah, it's spooky.
And all like, dude, they got like all the secret stuff and like, oh, it's the gate or what was the thing they opened?
The portal.
Yeah, what?
See, this is
It's
what I
with the
think, man.
spookies.
You know, like, and this isn't even to like shit on Catholics, like in general, right? Because I think there's a big difference between like the church,
Institution.
yeah, like the
Yeah.
institution, right? Like the Vatican versus
Yeah.
like, Frank, who,
people.
yeah, right. So,
Yeah.
but what I think personally is that the Pope, right, or like the cardinals, all the people high up in the church and the Vatican and all that stuff, like they're part of the Saturn death cult. They're playing
Yeah.
the part of heads of the church. You know what I mean? And but those people in that Saturn death cult, they've put themselves in the top of every institution, the medical institutions, the political institution, everything, right? Including the religious institutions, right? Not just the Catholic Church, but all of them, right? If you go to the top of the Jewish church, this is going to get us banned, same thing, right? Like you don't think that those, I don't know what the tops are. Are they rabbi? Is like the top guy a rabbi?
Yeah.
You don't think they're into like some spooky stuff, bro? You know what I mean? Like of course they're doing stuff, right? So
Yeah.
and same with Islam
Well,
and everybody else.
They all do this stuff, and it's like, it's strange because the people who were like, we wouldn't have well, I don't know. It's like their origins are also very weird. They like the queen, they weaponized the church. They like burned Wycliffe and Knox and Huss at the stake for making Bibles accessible to the regular people. It's like, wait, you're the religious folks and you're burning human beings alive for giving the word to the people. Like, you're obviously wrong, right? Like, that's not it. Jesus wouldn't have said that's good. But it's like they do all, I don't know, man. It's just they got some really weird origins. Very, very strange.
Yeah, I think that is the eagle, right? We talk about the eagle versus the serpent a lot, right? I always think
Yeah.
that the idea of that is that the serpent culture was like the pagans, right? The cultures before, right? They were worshiping like natural laws. Now they had weird, spooky ways of doing that, right? Like they were worshiping like deities and gods, but it was like the god of the wind, right? And the god of thunder. It was like they were worshiping natural law with their own like pagan rituals. But I think when this new entity came through, whether it was a demonic entity, right, or interdimensional, I don't know, aliens, it could have been anything, hollow earth peoples, some entity from outside of the snake culture, which was humanity, came in and just like corrupted and twisted and inverted and perverted everything. And like that was the church at the time, like back in the Inquisitions and the burning at the stake and all that, like that, like the church wasn't really doing that like in the name of God. Now they might have told the peasants that, right?
They
And
got
like,
hijacked, man.
yeah, they got hijacked, right? Exactly. Just like right now, what you see with like the political parties, right? Both of the political parties on paper, right, are like
They're separate.
well, they're a good idea,
Yeah.
like on paper, you know what I mean? But like they've been hijacked and they're corrupt and there's like shenanigans going on and you got war hawks on the right and you got fucking, corrupt, parasites on the left. And it's just like, but
Yeah.
if they were just on the up and up and it was just as the paper said, then everything would probably be pretty cool. We could figure it out.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, like right on that topic, like Jordan Peterson, he was just on Rogan. I think it came out today, and he was saying like these narcissistic Machiavellian type of people, they will shapeshift. They're the lizard people. They'll shapeshift to just fit whatever the power structure is that they can rise in. So if the culture's like leaning left, then they'll just become like left pundits. And then as soon as it shifts right, they go in shapeshift and everything whoop, 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 and they go in, it's like why you see Hillary Clinton being like, no, down with the gays back in the day, and then being like, no, I love the gays. Like the second it's become popular, it's like they have absolutely no law. They have no higher anything. It's just power. It's just how do I rise? And so that's why you'll see like, I don't know, I'll put him in it. You'll see people that are like on the right that were like war hawks, and then when the left gets into power, now it's same people. You get the war hawks. Whoa, there I am.
Yeah.
So it's like now it's what Joe Rogan's always talking about. He's like, how in the world is the left the one that's in favor of endless wars? It's like, because it's the same people. They weren't ever left or right. They're lizards. They just morph. They just camouflage. And they're a different color now.
Yeah. Yeah. And, like those politicians, like the Hillary Clintons and that, because they're that type of person, it makes them like useful idiots for the lizards even higher than them on the pyramid, right? Like they're able to, install these politicians that we think we vote for, because they're useful idiots, because they're just grifters. They'll go wherever, the power's at, and they don't have any real thoughts or real morals or anything like that. So the real lizards at the top will like totally use them as, our politicians to run the shit.
Of course, yeah. You get this like false dichotomy of choice. It's just an illusion. It's like, oh, you can choose or whatever, whoever. But then it's the second you're like, actually, I want this other thing. I want Bernie. Like, no. You don't actually get to choose. No. You're not getting Bernie. Or, oh, we want Tulsi. No, you're not getting Tulsi. Oh, we want RFK. No, you're not getting him either. Sorry. You get Biden. That's your choice. Mm-hmm. It's like, no, I didn't get to choose that. And it's like that with everything. I feel like it's getting like that with everything. It's like, oh, we're going to do, we're going to start bringing manufacturing back to the United States, and we're going to get, the food system all cleaned up. It's like, okay, yeah, that's cool. But like, don't I get a choice in what's getting cleaned up or not? No. Oh, so there's no choice.
Yeah, no, it's an illusion of choice for sure.
It's all illusion.
You think you're free.
Like you're not playing a part in it.
Yeah.
Like they could go in, and it's the same people. No one's getting fired. So it's just dudes that are just transforming. It's like, oh, Wesson just decided to blah, blah, blah. Well, all of a sudden, now oh my gosh, all of a sudden profits don't matter. How convenient. Look at you, just to keep your job. And dude, the second everything changes to where like there's not as much scrutiny, you're getting red 40 back in your food, dude. 100%.
Yeah, what I worry about with that whole thing is like, it's like a look over here type of thing. Look at this hand while this hand's doing something else. So it's going to be like, I was saying this a couple weeks ago on the show, right? All of us critical thinkers, self-thinkers, conspiracy-minded folks, we're going to be like, hell yeah, bro. They took the fluoride out of the water. Hell yeah, bro. They just banned chemtrails in Florida, right? Hell yeah, bro. Like we're moving towards, what we've been talking about. All the while, that's old stuff. This is old stuff.
Yeah.
Like, of course, they're going to like do away with these programs from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, right? Like we're moving into 2030 soon, right? The Great Reset. So yeah, they're going to do away with the old geoengineering stuff. That's old technology. They don't need it anymore. ban it. The fluoride stare, we don't need it anymore. We got millimeter wave technology.
Yeah.
Ban the fluoride. And
Yeah,
it,
vaccine water, dude. Come on.
yeah, and it's going to soften us up as the conspiracy minded folks, right? Because we're going to be like, look, they're
Let's start
loosening-
drinking tap water.
Yeah, well, maybe not that, but you know what I mean. Like we're gonna let our guard down a little bit, right?
Yeah,
and
dude.
just that little bit of letting our guard down is gonna give them another 20 years of fucking
Something else.
exactly. Yeah,
It could be, oh, the meat is now all American made. Oh, great. But it's all, lab meat. American made lab meat. You don't even know it.
I think
You
we're
know?
just moving into like everything is smaller, right? Like if you look at the microchips are smaller, we're doing quantum this, we're doing nano that, right? Everything is just smaller and faster. So not every, but most of the conspiracies that people know of, right? They're all like macro things, right? Like
Yeah.
flying a plane and spraying chemtrails out of this plane. It's like, it's a big event. It's a thing. It's huge, right? It's a whole process. They could probably get those materials, those nanoparticulates into the atmosphere via a billion other methods now, right? Like they
Oh.
can literally shoot a laser beam into the atmosphere, bounce it off the ozone layer, right? And the information of the chemicals is in the light, and they could somehow materialize particles. Like this is the level of technology that we're at now. So
Yeah.
you don't need a plane.
No, you don't need a plane. You can go, hey, you know what? We're going to go and make it rain in the desert, right? Oh, there's drought. Oh, there's a forest fire. Totally. We need to go make it rain. Go blow up silver iodine or whatever it is in the sky, but it's got gold in it. And now they're going to make it cold. Oh, it's got whatever other chemical they were wanting to put in there. And now they just modified the weather. More than just the rain. Something's now in the atmosphere, suspended in the atmosphere, in a rain cloud. And then now it's part of the cycle. Now it's going to fall to the ground, and the plants are going to absorb it, and then it's going to evaporate. And now they put all their chemicals as part of the system. It never gets weeded out. It's just, I don't trust nothing they're doing, bro.
Yeah,
Nothing.
for sure.
I mean, look at what they're doing in the bottom of the ocean, right? All that like HARP technology. Nobody knows about that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, bro, like Katy Perry going to space.
Get real, dude.
You see her open the door from the inside.
Get real, dude.
Did you see this?
I saw it, dude.
Yeah, they open the door from the inside, and then Bezos' handler or whatever has to run over there and be like, no, shut the fucking door, shut the door. And then Bezos comes over there with this $400 million tool that he's got in his hand, and he's like, let me open this door. And
It's a theater, man. It's a theater. I saw a video. Here, I'll play it real quick because I don't know what to make of it, man. I understand cameras and perspective pretty well. I don't know what to make of this, man. Sometimes when I see conspiracy theory stuff and I'm like, okay, no, people just fundamentally don't understand how cameras work and like focal lengths work. But
is there
this
audio
one,
in this video?
no, it's all visual. But this one threw me. I was like, ooh, what the heck is that? Here, let me share my screen. All right, pay attention here. It's quick. It's real quick. It is this one. No, it is not. It is, get off my screen. This one. All right, watch this. You see it good?
Yeah.
All right, so it's landing. You could see like there's not a bunch of grass around the bottom, right? There's not a bunch of shrubberies. Look at all the shrubberies. You see that? Two completely different. Look at all like how big the shrub is that it lands on. Yet there, no shrub. What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
is
man.
that, dude?
Well, what they probably did
Right?
is they've got footage of this capsule landing because they're launching shit in the air, right?
Yeah.
It's coming down, they're landing.
Yeah.
So they've probably got a whole stockpile of footage, and the editor spliced some together, and he's a dum dum, bad editor.
That could be totally be it, dude. You always got to go back and you got to like cover footage and stuff. Absolutely. It's, I didn't get a good angle. Something glitched. It froze. It looked weird. Let's cut it in with some other footage we have. Totally. Could be that. Could be.
Or if, especially if that video was produced and filmed by like a news company, right? Like if MSNBC's camera guy and their editors are the ones who did that, they're real dumb. Like we've caught them using like
Game footage?
game footage from like Fallout, you know, saying like, oh, mass devastation in Gaza, and it's like panning through Fallout, right? Like
Yeah.
stuff like that. So it could
War
have
never
been
changes.
yeah, it could have been something like that. I'm waiting for them to do that shit. You see like Master Chief in the background, like they're like, Gaza is under attack, and you see Master Chief running by, dude.
Yeah, dude, it's the ghost of Kiev as Master Chief. Chief. Oh, he's like, I need a gun.
Yeah, we were talking about this on Infinite Rabbit Hole the other night, and it's like Bezos's. What do you say? His fiance was on the spaceship. Yeah, right,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
Shut up. And then even if it's on the up and up, even if Bezos's wife, Oprah's girlfriend, Katy Perry, even if they went on this rocket and you believe everything they say 100%, they still didn't go to space.
No.
So why are they telling you that they went to space? Right? Because if you go on NASA's website, NASA defines space as, you know, the exosphere is like the last layer of space. And once you
Yeah.
pass the exosphere, you're now in space. But the exosphere stretches beyond the moon. The moon is within the Earth's atmosphere. Okay?
Yeah.
Not just a gravitational pull, but like within the Earth's atmosphere. So they didn't go to space. So why are they telling us they went to space?
Yeah. Nah, the guys that go like near the moon, they're like 68,000 miles up or something. It's like ridiculous. But even still, like even like the space station is like hundreds of miles up. They went 5, 6. I think they only went like 5 or 6 miles up.
Yeah, they didn't go that
Maybe
high.
maybe it was more than that. Maybe it was 50, but still, it's very not that high. So, but hey, it's more sensational, right? It's easier to just say they went to space than they went, oh, these celebrities went into low Earth orbit for a moment or something. It's like, it's pretty lame. But also, like, dude, you see that landing? Landing's pretty hard. I don't think that like Katy Perry and whoever Oprah's dragging around is like just taking that like a champ. That was a hard landing.
That's a hard landing, man. That's a hard
That thing
landing.
came down like boom, and they're just like coming out of it. Like, nah, dude.
Like, no, you'd have broken hips. You know, you'd have
Ah,
unless like,
man,
the seats are like
You-
super air ride shocks, which I don't think they are. I don't know.
I'm sure it's good, but I'm just like, you know, these these are not trained astronauts that can handle like, dude, the G's, bro. The G's of takeoff, dude. When you're sitting there and you're like, you know, and you gotta like, no, dude, these people are not. You're seeing people hit like these crazy G's and I think their whole face like just is like coming off from the force.
That's a good point.
And they got to sit there and like breathe super hard and they got to do like special breathing techniques. I'm like, Katy Perry was not sitting there like, just make sure she doesn't pass out, dude.
Yeah,
It's ridiculous.
That's a good point. Crystal just told me they had 3 hours of training, but like we went to Kennedy and like I remember seeing like they had the little thing that the G-force chair thing that you spin around in the training.
Yeah,
thing.
dude.
Bro, like you've seen videos of these guys training for like the Apollo
you get
missions.
freaking-
Yeah, like you said, they're like you have to do like crazy breathing exercises just not to pass out.
Yeah.
And it's like 3
I
hours.
think they
of training.
figured that out. Did some old ladies figure that out in 3 hours? This isn't Lamaze breathing, bro. This is like legit. I don't know, dude. I don't really believe it. They could have just launched that thing. They could have put him up, you know, kind of high or whatever, and be like, oh, it looks cool, and then came back down.
But that's not impressive. This is the whole point. Like, why are you telling us you went to space? You just tell us you did a zero gravity thing. Like, there's those Boeing planes that do that. You could take
Yeah.
the plane up and it drops and it's zero gravity. That's cool. It's cool enough. That's cool. You could just be like, hey, look, they did a zero gravity. Cool. You don't have to be like, they went to space.
Life's not interesting, bro. And they have to spice it up. These people have lived like larger than life, and the news friggin' sucks. So it's like, no. At this point, yeah, you have to lie about everything. Everything.
Speaking of the news, what was that thing you showed me before we were recording? The
It's kind of old. It's kind of old. But dude, made me laugh, bro. These guys commit. They commit so freaking hard.
Is a crisis
to
actor. We're making a hard left turn here, people. Crisis actors.
Yes, it is crisis acting, but it's not that hard because it's freaking the news, man. Dude, people commit so hard to the fake and the lie. This there's two things I wanted to do. There's one, dude, this one spooked me out. Hold on. Let's do this crisis acting first, though. It's not having to do with the school shooting, so calm down. All right, so this is Ukraine health ministry, 57 dead, 159 hurt. They're showing all the bodies that they like stacked up, and then this body starts putting the blanket back on because the bag's blown off. And this guy is just, look at these people. No, hold on, put the bag back on. This dude's just committed, man.
You know, it's interesting because I've seen videos.
Committed.
I don't think I've seen this video, but I've seen videos like this. I remember seeing one. This was back, man, this is a hot minute ago. This was like ISIS, peak ISIS era, right? And there was like a video that went around, and there was a bombing, I think, that happened in somewhere, France or someplace, right? And it was the same type of thing where on the day of, like if you're watching the news, which I happened to be that day when the news broke, there was a video that went around of that same thing. There was people, like there was blood everywhere, smoke and debris and rubble. And then like the people who in the background were like clearly dead got up and they just were like talking to each other like casually, right? And then they laid back down, which was the thing. It wasn't just like they got up, like maybe they were just, no, like they went back down into the same positions that they were in. And then later the video got scrubbed and you only saw like the, you know, the clean edits. But yeah, dude, crisis.
Yeah, I saw one with like the they're like, oh, these people, you know, are climbing over all of the rubble, you know, and trying to find each other in all this rubble, and like old ladies are picking up huge stones like they're nothing because they're not even, it's not real rubble. They like created a scene.
Yeah, I seen that one.
Just
I remember that.
Ridiculous, man. Like, why? If it's, this is what I'm saying, bro. You get sold a war. How crazy is that, dude? Crazy is that?
I
You get
think
sold a war.
This plays into like the whole thing where I talk about there's not as many people on Earth as they say there is. You know, they tell us there's 8 billion people, right? And there's all this shit going on and this and that. I don't think so, man. I don't think so at all. And I think part of the reason that we're noticing these fake stories happen, crisis actors and all that, is because they have to keep creating all of these stories all the time in order to keep the rest of us thinking like there's 8 billion people. There's enough shit happening for there to be news every single day, right? Some terrible event. But on top of that, the parasites feed off of negative energy. So, and that negative energy can be so minuscule that you don't even notice it, right? Like you just seeing a news story about some hospital in Gaza getting nuked, right? It's sad. Even if you like hate Palestinians, right? There's like a certain 1% of your subconscious self is like, damn, right? And that is what they're feeding on. You know what I mean? So, you know, you don't have
And
to
so
be,
much of it just isn't even true. They'd be like, oh, they bombed the hospital. And then you go and actually look at it and it's like, no, they had a thing in the parking garage. They built something under the parking garage and blew that up. Now, granted, I'm not saying that Israel has not decimated that place. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that not every story you hear is the story that it is.
right.
Who's the soulless, dude? The soulless creeps that are pretending to lay under body bags.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
that-
you have no soul.
Well, you know, it's feeding, it fills multiple roles, right? It's feeding the narrative, which is like base layer reality for all of the NPCs, right?
Yep.
There's a problem. There's a war in Ukraine, right? Like look at all the bodies, whatever it is, okay? So base layer narrative, check, right? Then one layer deeper than that, you know, you've got like you said, everything's a stage, right? Everything's theater, right? Like make things up to keep the news cycles going, right? Then you go down to layer 3. They're harvesting your negative energies, right? Your slight discomfort, stuff like that, and it just keeps going deeper and deeper. So this is what I try to tell the guys in Infinite Rabbit Hole sometimes, because we get into these like weird discussions, and I have a tendency of going from 0 to 100, right? You know what I'm saying? Like we'll talk about something that's relatively mundane, and next thing you know, I'm like preaching about how the lizards are siphoning your soul energy, your loosh off of that, right?
Yeah.
And it's like it's sometimes I feel like I'm not connecting the dots properly, but it's just layer
No,
on
I mean,
layer,
it is just like that though, man. You're 100% right. Think about this, right? What is that? So they get the story out, right? Like you're saying, they get the story out to the people. Oh, so many people dead. Whatever. And then you have the selling of the soul of all of the people that are there to give you a fake story. The news anchor who knows all the people behind him are alive, all the people who know that they're alive, selling you some kind of fake, whatever. Then you have the people are being deceived in mass, but then they feed the psychosis, right? The lunacy, they feed the Alex Jones mind that can just get derailed with like the front person is going to have the bag come up.
Yeah.
And they're not going to pan away. They're going to keep it. So that way those guys go, see? And then they don't trust anything. And they become the weird guys that are like, the war in Ukraine is fake.
And that's just
When it's
another
like,
ingredient in the
dude,
loosh mix, bro.
They hit everybody, dude. They hit everyone.
Yeah.
Everybody gets something, right? You get deceived or you get awakened and you're like, oh my gosh, dude, it's all fake. And then they got you.
That's true, man. But then you have to.
But you hit it from a different angle, dude. You just go, there's not that many people. And it's like, whoa.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there is, man. There's no evidence for me personally that tells me there's 8 billion people here, man. And I've had certain life experiences that most people don't get, right? I've driven across this entire country, the United States, multiple times, edge to edge, coast to coast, right? When I used to drive the semi truck. And I know how much empty space there is in this country, right? And I've driven that truck through every major metropolitan area, right? Like I've driven through Atlanta, LA, New York, Chicago, Miami, all of them. Okay. So I know how big those areas are, right? I know how many people are crammed. I know the traffic situations. And then I know how much empty space there is with nothingness. And I'll tell you right now, bro, there's infinitely more nothingness than there is people in this country, right? So like I don't think there's 370 million people in the United States. There's no way. There's no way.
Do you think they inflate the number, or do you think that it was that and we've secretly unalived a lot of people?
No, I think they inflate the number, and it's for the same reason they tell you that space is infinite and nothing is out there. Scarcity.
I've said it. I mean, you look at a globe and you see that Africa is the same size as all the other continents until you realize that, oh no, Africa, you could fit all the continents in Africa. That's how big it is. And then you wonder why all the billionaires go and play over in Africa.
But they'll scare the rest of us and say, hey,
disease.
Africa, full of disease. It's
lions.
Poor. There's no water. It's constantly in civil war. You're likely to be beheaded. Like all of these things to keep people from just going to Africa. And like you said, most of Earth is
Africa. Dude, literally most of Earth is Africa, dude. Crazy, bro. And they'll be like, oh no, there's the bugs and the this, that, and the other thing, bro. It's most of the Earth is empty. There's nothing there.
Of course there's
it's untouched.
Yeah, of course there's Congo rebels beheading people. Of course there's lions and all of these things because it's most of the Earth.
Yeah, exactly, dude. But it's crazy. It's like that's how big Africa is. Everybody's like, oh, I want, land in Malibu or Hawaii, these like micro islands and whatever. The billionaires, I'm going to go play in Africa.
Yeah.
I'm going to go, like, look at Bill Gates. He's just like, I'm going to destroy entire civilizations in Africa. That's where my playground is.
Yeah, yeah,
It's insane.
like Nestle, right? Like just sucking the aquifer, sucking the water from underneath, like I don't know how many dozens and hundreds of villages, and just
Yeah.
sorry, right? And it's
Sorry,
like
we need this.
no. So yeah, I don't think that the population thing is true. I think it's all a scarcity lie. It's all a tactic
Yeah.
to keep us, in fear. And part of that is to make us think like, Trump comes out and he's like, we got to stop the war in Ukraine with Russia and blah blah blah. There's 2,000 people dying a week over there. They say that's the number, 2,000 people a week, and it's like, okay, that's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people, dude.
I don't think that's the case, man. I
100,000 a year.
It's a lot of people, bro. They're already saying like over 1 million people. Apparently like a million people died in Iraq when we invaded Iraq. Like, it's in shit last century. In the last century, bro, like over 100 million people died at the hands of communism and socialism, right? Like Stalin, Mao, Hitler, all these people, like 100 million people, bro. Right?
It's a lot of people, bro.
It's a lot of people, man. I don't know. It's like the numbers that they throw out. It just doesn't jive, bro. And like I said, having driven around, of course I don't drive around the country driving a truck counting people, but you just get a sense. It's like how many marbles are in the jar,
Well, there's also, when they say there's 1 billion people in the world and we have 400 million, we don't have half of 1 billion.
Right.
So it's like the number, and our country's massive. So you go over to like India that has 1 billion people, and I'm sure maybe that feels different because the number is bonkers. Or China that has 1 billion people or over 1 billion people. China's huge though, but I'm just saying like it might feel different over there. They have over twice the population in a smaller space. Maybe that feels different. But at the same time, it's like, bro, you got microscopic places, Scotland, that is open like everywhere else. Everywhere is open. There's crowded areas, really tiny crowded areas, but everywhere's just open, dude. Scotland, Canada, Greenland, England, they're just open.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy how small we are on this planet, and yet it feels like you're big. It's just because of the way that they crowd you in. It's disgusting, honestly.
I mean, we're all talking about like smart city initiatives, and they're going to cram us into these 15-minute smart cities and stuff. And it's like they already did.
Dude.
They already did. They already did.
Stop.
They already did, bro. How far? Okay, everybody listening to this right now, how far are you from Walmart?
About 15 minutes.
Can they watch and listen to every single thing you're doing right now on every single one of your devices that you bought willingly?
Yeah.
It's almost like you live in the 15-minute smart city.
Yeah. No, dude, I'm literally like, I'm 5 minutes away from, I'm Sam's Club is right there. Wawa's right there. Target is right there. Publix is right there. Walmart is right there. The highway is right there. They could just shut the highway off right there, and I'm stuck.
You want to know something that freaks me out? Speaking of this, I was watching this podcast, and it was like some Delta Force guys, and those guys are fucking crazy. And he was like, people don't realize that if terrorists or another country or just whoever shut down like 12 or 14 bridges along the East Coast, right? Just shut them down. And he was like, they don't have to blow them up. But the way he said it was like, that would be easy. But he was like, you don't have to blow them up. He's like, they can just park an oil tanker on top of the bridge and light it on fire. The bridge is done, right? They're like, if they did that to 12 or 14 bridges, like everything's fucked. Everybody's fucked in the whole country. Like the traffic jams and shit that it would cause, like we're all done. So you don't even need the grid to go out. You just need like a handful of bridges to go out. And it's
a little bit of transportation.
Yep.
Yeah, dude, that's nerve wracking. I almost makes me feel like what Trump is doing is like this other chess move of trying to like insulate us from possibly getting into I don't want to say a siege, but like, you know, where like somebody just nukes our ports and it's like, oh, if we don't import everything, we're dead. So now it's like, okay, maybe there is a plan. Maybe he knows some like, hey, there's plans out there to hit our ports, or there's plans out there to take out our transportation in some way, or whatever. New head of WEF is the ex CEO.
I thought Klaus Schwab re-signed as the new head of World Economic Forum again.
Who's the head of WEF?
Did he resign? Did he resign? Is that what it is? Maybe I am dyslexic, so maybe it said resigned and I thought it said re-signed.
Resigned.
That
Klaus Schwab
sounds-
he's the founder of the WEF.
Yeah,
this
yeah.
Boris Brende.
Okay, so then ex Nestle CEO, and what was I just saying? Nestle was like sucking the water. Yeah, he's an actual.
Yeah,
demon.
dude.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about, man. This is what I said earlier. Like the actual demons, right? Like the real ones. Okay, they make their way to the tops of the institutions that dictate how the world works, right? The Bilderbergs, the Trilateral Commissions, the World Economic Forums, the Bohemian Grove, those people, not, you know, not fucking Joe Biden, right? Not whoever. No. Like the Pope, right? Like head of WEF, right? Like head of the Fed, Federal Reserve. You know, these people.
Yeah. Dude, check this out. This one's a little spooky. Is it working? Can you see my screens?
I don't see your screen.
Oh, what happened? What did I do? What did I do? All right, so this is DARPA's Life Project, started in 2003, aimed to record life activities using technology to create a comprehensive life diary, sparking this diary life project. It ended in February 2004, the same time AI started. I'm sorry, same time Facebook started. It's like, why would we need to capture everything when you'll just post it all?
Yeah.
Bro, I've never even heard of this. DARPA's Life Project.
Life Project started. And what is it aimed at? What? Aimed to
Recording-
record life activities using technology. Yeah. See, this is the thing, man. Like,
Bro, what is that, dude? Why are they doing that?
because that's the move, bro. Like, if you're gonna make societal changes in mass, okay, it's like you gotta convince the guy to do something, but make him think it's his idea, type of thing, right? Like in the masses will not adopt something new unless it's our idea. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's why.
Are you screen sharing now, or is it me? Why am I
It's
still
you.
screen sharing?
That's you.
What happened?